You've just tuned in to Inner Station, where the latest and hottest topics are always on air. I'm your host, Cami, and each episode will be serving up fun chats, fire insights, with some special guest appearances, of course. Now, I am super excited about today's guests. I've got John and Theo from Melon Mobile, which is Africa's first truly digital telecommunications company, joining us. They're here to give us the inside scoop on their recent billboard campaign that shook South Africa this past August. John, Theo, welcome to Inner Station.
Hi, Camo.
Thanks, Camo.
How are you both doing?
Happy to be here.
Happy to have you.
I'm doing great, thank you.
So I think let's start off by giving the audience a chance to get to know you both. John, we'll start with you. I want to know who you are and what fuels your inner fire.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'm John. I am an executive creative director at Melon Mobile. And yeah, I'm about 40 years old, married, 2 children. What fuels my fire is this business that we work on. To wake up every day to, try to get this amazing service out into the hearts and minds of people. Because yeah, I really think it's unique and a lot better in terms of what the networks currently people have to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the fire.
Super cool. Now, Theo, let's move on to you. Tell us who you are and what fuels your inner fire.
Yeah, similar to John, I'm also one of the Melon creatives. John and I kind of run the Melon creative team. Whatever goes out in Melon, John and I run it. I'm also married, 2 kids. Mine are much younger than John, so I'm just in the start of having kids, 6 and 3. So I guess I'm very busy with them. They kind of fuel my fire. I play a lot of sports. I'm very competitive when it comes to sports, soccer, golf, whatever I get my hands on, I can play. Hockey, I love playing. And yeah, like John, John and I met 17 years ago, maybe longer, and we've been a team since then. So we kind of have a similar fuel of doing creative work that's just fun and out there and something that people haven't seen before. So I guess from a creative point of view, I'm the same as John as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Working with friends. That's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's dive a little bit into the story of Melon Mobile. Tell us how the company got started and how long you've been in the game.
Awesome.
John, you want to take that one?
Okay, well, I think, Melon's launched to the public about last year, April. Me and Theo had started on it about a year prior to that with an old colleague we used to work with called Calvin, who is now the CEO. He used to be at MTN running their supersonic fiber division as their CEO. And after working with him, he gave us a call and said, I'm looking to break out with something new and something different in the mobile space. We started helping him on this idea, how it looks from a brand perspective, what's its tone, right before it actually got an investor. So, we kind of, just helped kind of map it out. What is the app going to look like? Things like that. Yeah. And then, about 6 months, there was about a 6 months quiet period. We got a call back from him to say, listen, I'm giving this my all, quit my job. You guys keen to join Melon Mobile and really launch this thing? We've got investors. So we jumped on board, gladly jumped on board, quit what we were doing, and have built it really from nothing into the small business it is now. It's growing. So it's been it's officially just under 2 years that Melon Mobile's been around.
Oh, great! And how?
I think from why we got involved was, we're really interested as a creative point of view to help form a company, start a company, brand it from the bottom. Start from the bottom, build it with Calvin and his team of tech geniuses, and really really get this off the ground from a creative point of view, it was really cool to be the start of a brand. And how does the brand build? What can we take learnings from overseas? We looked at other brands from overseas. Melon is the telco, so we're trying to do things differently. So everything from how the app is built to how it helps customers, keeping customer at its center, and then from branding, how do we do stuff differently? How do we do things that people haven't seen and that stand out, especially on a kind of startup budget when you don't have big tech budgets to make big brand ads and beautiful Christmas ads. How do we do things differently that really stand out and make the brand known to South Africans with a limited budget? So all that kind of excitement, the melting pot of everything and being involved with everything from a creative point of view really interested us. Yeah.
No, I love that. And I think that's one of those very rare opportunities, is being there as part of the creative process for a very new brand. I think a lot of creatives, we come in when a brand is already existing and we try to shake it up. So it's very rare to get the opportunity to start from the ground with a brand and grow it. That's super cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, in August, Melon Mobile went live with a super cool campaign where you took some of South Africa's biggest billboards by storm. This takeover campaign was so innovative and creative, and it certainly did get a lot of tongues wagging. Can you tell us a bit about the thought process behind what went into creating this campaign, John?
Yeah, sure. I think to go back, we, as a new brand, just before the campaign, there's a few things you have to establish in terms of, brand awareness is one of them. But more importantly, as a new mobile provider, the biggest one is trust and credibility. So, the team had come up with this idea, and it's the first in the market from a telco perspective, to go, what if we let everyone try Melon Mobile for free for 2 weeks? And let them test it out. They'll get 5 gigs, they'll get unlimited calls, and they can go through the whole journey. They can sign up, and they can really start using it, start using the network, see the quality. They can start using the support systems. They can top up and add airtime. And after the 2 weeks, you go, well, is this the mobile network for me? You're more highly likely to go yes than having never tried it before. So an incredible kind of first to market offer of this free trial for telco. And with that in mind came the idea of going, this is a free trial for every single person in South Africa. Everybody try it. And there lied some kind of interesting insight for us, which was, what if we asked the whole country to put us to the test? And in those specific words, it's really, we're at a stage in our business where we go, for the year and a bit, we're still tweaking products, making things work. Have we got our support systems right? But it just so happened to coincide when that campaign or that idea of free trial aligned with where we were as a business, to go, we're proud, we back ourselves.
Right.
We're really at a stage where we want to go, try us, test us, put us to the test. In that statement comes a little bit of confidence to go, we back ourselves, to ask the whole country to put us to the test. And it also, at the same time, can go, let's hope we've done enough, because we're asking South Africans to review us. To actually try us comes a risk of going, well, you guys weren't that good, or something like that. So in itself, the idea of a free trial and asking the whole country to put us to the test is bold. And I think, Theo can then go, tell you a little bit about the idea of how do we, we then went, but how do we ask the whole country to put us to the test?
Yeah. And I think, Theo, this actually is a great segue into my question for you, is why a billboard campaign? I mean, we're in an age where a lot of things, the digital is very much like the go-to these days when it comes to marketing and things like that. So why a billboard campaign, and how did this then translate into the digital side of things as well?
Look, I think we're looking at different ways of getting our name out there. Like John was saying, we wanted to build some a reputation. People didn't know about us, so how do we get our name out there the best way possible? And what's the top of the funnel, awareness, and how do you get that in the best way possible, in the biggest way possible? And I guess we thought billboards was one way. We originally thought let's do radio and billboards at the same time.
Yeah.
Because we thought that would give us mass exposure. Billboards, especially, people driving on the roads now that lockdown's long gone and people are going back to work. Remote working is not so much done anymore.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid of remote working and working from office. So more people are on the roads now. And just to get our name out there, what's going to make the biggest impact? We did try TV when we first started, and we didn't really get the impact on TV that we thought we would get. And we just thought, let's do something different. Let's do something like billboards and radio. We lost the radio through negotiations. We just couldn't get the timing right and the right stations and the right DJs in those stations. We just couldn't get that right. But we felt that billboards gave us a nice big platform. I'm not talking about the side of the billboards. I'm just talking about a big awareness drive around Johannesburg and Cape Town specifically, where get a lot of eyeballs on our brand with an interesting message, an interesting concept, and a call to action that's great. Get your free trial, get your own free trial. So billboards just became an opportunity, and outdoor became an opportunity for us to really be seen by thousands of eyeballs every day. And it's proven that way. I think the results have proven that billboards and outdoor did work well for us. That's not to say we're not going to go into other fields afterwards or other media spaces afterwards, and we're negotiating with media buyers and things like that at the moment. But I think billboards have done really well for us as a and then linked to our digital. So whatever you saw on our outdoor, it was mirrored by what you saw on our digital platforms. So there was a continuity between the two. So if you're asked to take the free trial on a billboard, the next thing you were fed from a social media and paid media point of view was, take out a free trial, or have you seen our billboards, take out a free trial. So the messaging itself was very consistent, and people really liked that, the consistency in the messaging. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, and
that does answer the question.
Yeah, and I think for we're very, very intentional about our outdoor approach. So I think the whole idea behind it was going, if we're asking the whole country to put us to the test, there's a lot of people and brands that are advertising out there, and they've already got established names as personalities within themselves or as a business. And we thought to grab enough attention, what if we boldly invited some of these people to put us to the test? So you're a musician, or you're a stand-up comedian, or you own an airline. We thought, okay, cool. Well, let's make a thought of these bold invitations where we invite them in a space that is their own, but we suddenly turn it into ours in a very disruptive kind of fashion of placing giant invitational stickers to put us to the test. So we looked at brands and people that would be able to take a joke.
Right. Yes.
A bit of fun. And then I think behind that reasoning was a very clear, strategic thought of going, outdoors only seen, let's just say one outdoor billboard can be seen up to by 40 to 60,000 people driving past it every month. And how do you get more eyeballs on a billboard? Is that you create something that creates a conversation,
right?
And that's where it can lead to online and digital. So if it creates enough if it's bold enough or creative enough, it becomes shareable and worthy of sharing. And suddenly, instead of just 50,000 people seeing your billboard, if it's crazy enough, you can get 2 million people to see that piece of execution. So highly strategic to get enough awareness. And it's just, it's very intentional to do that, to go, how do you get more eyeballs on a billboard than the people driving past it? And I think, that's something we've done before, and we know it works. So we just went, let's try it differently here with the same intentions.
And I think most South Africans have never seen anything like this before. So I personally thought this was like super, super cool. And I mean, we saw this billboard takeover on some really, really big billboards. You guys really went for some big names as well. You included the likes of Arasi and Afaf, and you integrated their billboards into this campaign as well. And we know that with bold moves, especially in marketing campaigns, you do run the risk of getting backlash, especially if it's something that is disruptive, like this campaign was. Were you prepared for this? And was there anything in particular that you needed to consider in terms of like how you were going to execute this?
But from my side, I think we like John said, we purposely chose brands that could take a bit of fun from us or a bit of cheek from us.
Yeah.
Some of them we've worked with them before, and we know they can take a joke, and they're not gonna come back and shout at us or anything like that. When it comes to backlash from audience, we didn't get too much backlash. Most people online loved the idea. They thought it was very cheeky. They thought, how could you do that, but in a fun way. We had one or two keyboard warriors that, especially when it came to like our Springboks and our Springbok coach, they're very over those kind of people, like especially Rassie. How could you take over Rassie's billboard? He's a national treasure. Things like that, one or two, but generally on the whole, it was very well received by everyone in social media. The keyboard warriors didn't take too much convincing to get them onto our side, and generally people just thought it was a really great concept and typical South African humor. Like, let's poke fun at each other, let's do something that's fun and engaging. It wasn't harmful in any way. It didn't harm the brands in any way. So generally, I think we were pretty excited and saw the fun in the concept and not the harm of the concept.
And I think that's the thing that I like about this campaign, is there is a very South African undertone to it, right? It's a very South African campaign. Something about it just felt very, this is a thing that you would see happen at home, and I get it immediately when I see it. I want to know, how did you decide who you wanted to work with? I know you chose like brands that you knew could take a joke, but what was the process of elimination for that? Was it based on location of their billboards, or did some of their advertising sort of inspire alignment for this campaign? Did you see brands and think, oh, we like your vibe, we could vibe really well?
Yeah, I think it was a mixture of a whole bunch of those things. I think it was, when we took over the brands billboards, it was definitely about, are these likable brands? Are they, do they themselves have a following that could take a joke like this, that could be a part of it? And that was quite easy. I mean, we could have gone for many other brands like a Nando's or things like that. I guess it was just about timing, and who we could kind of work with to make this happen. When it comes to like the people, I think we had like very strategically chosen people that could, again, with the thought of going, how do we get more reach beyond billboards? You choose people that have their own influence online. So, the likes of a Springbok or a Springbok coach are followed by, hundreds of thousands of people. So, if you could disrupt their billboard, the chances of them posting about it or sharing their content to their audience, suddenly your reach goes a lot wider. So very strategic in who we chose. If we had to have gone for like a radio station or a presenter, like Anele in the club, the intention would be, let's take over their billboard with the cunning idea of going, they'll talk about it on radio to millions of people. So you've got to kind of go, let's choose people that can make the message or the conversation grow bigger. And then I think, looking at people very carefully in that regard. And then there was like a little bit of luck. So I think chatting to the likes of Fuff, we had a brief conversation with him as a person of interest to say, okay, cool. Well, he's got a lot of, influence and super well known. He's quite a character on his own. We thought, let's just chat to him. And it just so happened that he was launching his own swimwear line, which coincided like to the T with when this campaign goes out. And I think something super unique about this campaign was that the partners and the people that were involved, just to align those things for that to happen, but for brands and people's personal own brands to align where they're at a place of going, I've built the swimwear business, it's about to launch, I can't afford outdoor, I can't afford giant billboards, and us going, well, we need something out of this and you need something out of it as well. So really strategically going, and with a bit of luck going, this could benefit both of us. And I mean, that in itself was just something we didn't expect to happen. But it just shows you what partnership or what this kind of advertising can do. It's not one-sided. It can bring the awareness up of the brand that you're taking over as well. So it's win-win for both people or parties involved.
So Thea, a lot of people would say that this campaign shows Melon Mobile as a bit of a disruptor in the market. Do you agree with this, and why?
Yeah, I totally agree with it. I think I spoke about it right at the beginning of this podcast, and when we first set out, Calvin, when he first started briefing out, and we asked him, what is this company going to be called, and what's the meaning behind the company? He wants to go out and disrupt. He wants to go out and change how people are doing mobile in South Africa. So everything from how customers are treated by call centers to how they build their plans, and the idea of having long-term contracts. That sucks, let's not do long-term contracts. So everything from the product has been about disruption. So the brand obviously flows from that kind of idea of being a disruptor. So we intentionally go out there to try to look at different ways of disrupting. Obviously, you have to do the basics, get the basics right. So people have to know about the brand, people have to know about what the brand stands for, then people have to know about the product, the pricing, all that kind of stuff. All the basic levels have to be taken care of. But then when you get a bit of budget and you get the freedom from the board to say, let's do something exciting, at least you can go out there and do something exciting. So from a creative point of view, we want to disrupt, whether that's through saying something cheeky in a once-off social media post, or whether it's doing something tactical like the billboards, or even whether it's thinking about how a summer promo happens or how a switch campaign happens. Everything we do from when we're starting to brainstorm is around how do we do things that other brands haven't thought about doing, or how do we disrupt how marketing and branding has been done in our sector, and even outside of our sector. Like you've seen the naked billboards, what they're doing in their field is disruptive, and then the app itself is disruptive. So we are similar in that vein in terms of how we want to do advertising. We want to stand out by we don't have the biggest budgets, we don't have the biggest footprint in the country yet. We're growing every day, but how do we take the budget that we've got? How do we take the footprint that we've got, the partners that we've got, and the media spaces we have, and how do we disrupt them and make them a bit different?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the most effective things when it comes to advertising and sort of marketing as well, is making sure that the brand, everything that you're doing on that end is true to what the brand is and who the brand is, and aligning that with your offering as well, so that everything is one big holistic picture and it makes sense.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's our DNA, basically.
Sometimes kind of like forced to do it as well, if you don't have the big budget, you really are, we've got a pure intentions of disrupting and being a challenger brand. But when it comes to budget, it kind of goes, well, what can you do with this? That, how do you get the most eyeballs without spending that much? So you sometimes forced into a space of going, we have to do it differently, just because we don't have the money to do it traditionally. And that's being in that situation is great for creatives. It's it forces you to kind of think of things differently.
But don't tell the business people that, because now they're going to cut creative budgets, because apparently great ideas come from limited budget.
I was just going to add, one of the nicest things about where we are right now is that there's not this. You don't decide a campaign through a boardroom. You decide it by the creatives that are internal and by the team. That's our little Melon team. So from speaking to the CEO, the founder CEO, to our head of growth, to even just the people that we work with every day, and saying, what do you think about this idea? And they throw it at us. And for a very long time, John and I, when we were in mainstream advertising, which we still love doing, you often had to go present a big idea to 20 people, including like the financial director and the head of PR, and every one of those people had an opinion on how it should go, and the idea just gets more and more whittled down from being this exciting idea to being let's just do a plain billboard with a straight line. The beauty about where we are now is there's 6 or 7 people. You present it, they give their opinion, and you take it in or you counter it, and the idea comes out of that. And it's the small team kind of makes it a lot more, the idea a lot more effective. And I really appreciate that about where we are in a business, as a business.
I think it's, to add to that, I think it really, it does start at the top. So our CEO is just super, open to ideas. He's got so many ideas himself. I think it's creating a culture where ideas can live. They can, it's to test them, have the balls to try something different. But really an environment that encourages different thinking. Starts from beyond where we get a brief, which is great. And I think, Melon's got a great internal culture of being very open to ideas, and almost just encouraging different thinking. And it starts with each individual within the business, like our CEO is just, he's an ad marketing genius himself. So he really wants to push the boundaries in that regard. But it does help. I mean, the founder of Nando's was like that. I think and Chicken Licken, they just pushed. They were the ones driving the messaging and how they showed up. It wasn't their agency,
Yeah. And I think that goes a long way for creatives, knowing that like the person that has quote unquote the final say is also like in line with sort of trying new things, open to new ideas. That really goes a long way.
Exactly.
Now, I want to know, Theo, what is one learning that you would say creatively you've taken away from this campaign?
Sure. One learning I've taken away from this campaign is, having good brand partnerships and friends, other brands that are friends, sticking true. I mean, maybe I'm giving more now, but like sticking true to who we are as a brand. We're a South African brand. We're a young South African brand. So we aligned with young South African brands and South African brands that we know could take a joke and things like that. So I think it's just about, taking the idea and really, flexing it the best way you can, but also have confidence to go out there and say, this is the idea. We're not going to water it down. We're going to have fun doing it.
Right.
If you want to join us, you're in. If you don't want to join us, we're also okay with that. But let's just go out there and do something that we all want to do, and everyone working together to get the one thing done. I think that was the key learning for me, like just teamwork and making sure everyone was aligned with one goal and put into it, and then just go for it. That was my one learning.
Yeah. John, what would you say your one learning was?
Yeah, very similar to Theo's. I think you can only, it's the cliche thing of, you can only go as far on your own.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, I've never really worked like this where you have to work with multiple people, partners, brands. And like Theo says, I think once we're protective of our ideas, or we think like we're just going to do this. Once you start going, oh, what happens if we all work together?
Right.
How can we create an idea that benefits both people, both parties, and really go? For me, it kind of made me look at partnerships completely differently and going, us as South African brands, if we just club together, we could do really unique, different things.
Yeah.
And that benefits both of us at the end of the day. If you've got a small South African brand that's creating swimwear, to slightly more established brand that can potentially help it out.
Right.
Brands working together and people working together can, we can just help each other really. So yeah, likes of Feltskin shoes to South African like our own airlines.
Mm.
I think we all live in the same country. We have the same kind of humor. We've
Right.
times got very similar markets. And I think, yeah, just that power of partnership is incredible learning for me after this. I was like, wow,
Yeah. And I read a thing earlier last week that speaks to that, right? And the person was saying the quickest way to grow and to get to the top is really collaboration. It's not competition. It's really if you're able to come together, band together in service of one goal, and it's mutually beneficial. That's how you can fast track your growth.
Yeah, this is almost like a prime example of that. So
right. Yes.
I agree with what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I have one last question for you both. I want to know how much fun you had curating this campaign, like personally, just work aside, how much fun was it pulling this together?
Well, John had to do some work with Fuffies, and he was wearing the swimming costumes. As he might have been more fun than me, but yeah.
Okay, so things got super fun.
Yeah, I think retouching a pair of Speedos is not super fun, but but you know what? I mean, the whole campaign was just really exciting from the time we kind of, first presented it to actually creating it. There were, some hard deadlines, some real technical issues that we had to factor in. But we got over it at each step. And like you said, it was just real. I think the idea helped a lot. I think it's an easy idea to tell people when in the production process, and people just adopted and adapted and moved with it and moved for it. It wasn't like we had to fight hard, from the media owners to our brand partners to the people. I think it just shows you if the idea is simple enough or people just get it. It made the whole process a lot smoother. Therefore, it was it was easy and fun. I think if we had to fight with people and push this where they didn't want it to go, it would have been a challenge, but it didn't like that.
Yeah, I think when you're in it, when you're in the thing, it's stressful. You're worried. Is there a spelling mistake on the billboard? Is there? Have we made the stickers that we're sticking on the billboards too small? Have we? Will people resonate with this when it goes live? We have spent money on it. We're not spending money, so it goes live. Is it going to get the awareness we want it to get? Is it going to get the reach? Is it going to lift the bottom line? Are we going to see growth in the business? So you're stressed about all those things when you're in it, but when you take a step back afterwards and you look at it and you say, "Hey, it was actually quite fun going to the billboard and watching the guys climb up the billboards and stick those stickers on," which were massive stickers. It was actually fun being out there. It was fun on the day of the launch, a whole group on the WhatsApp going like, "We're live, guys. Let's watch this now. Let's go on social media and listen and see what people are saying." So you can take a step back and you say, it's stressful while you're doing it. And as a creative, you want to do really well, and you want to, as a brand, you want to do really well. But you take a step back, like I said, and you just look out and you say, geez, it was actually so much fun doing it, speaking to the other brands, the meetings we had with them, the calls we had when our stickers went up to say you put your stickers on. All of that kind of stuff was just just fun when you get out of it and look afterwards,
Right. And I think it comes back to what you also mentioned earlier, Theo, about being able to carry the initial idea and not being shut down until it's all watered down. I think being able to have the idea and just run with that same idea and see it to fruition is also pretty cool. So well done to you guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Now, before I let you go, I want to play a round of hot takes with you. How it works is I'm just gonna ask you random rapid fire questions, and then you're just gonna answer with hot or not. And then if there's something interesting we want to go into, then we'll just get a little deeper into that. But are you guys down?
Cool. Oh, let's try it.
Awesome. How do you both feel about wingsuit flying?
Hot and not.
Yeah, same.
Hot and not.
I
Why?
like people doing it. I like seeing people do it, but there's no way.
Exactly the same. Exactly. It looks so cool. I'll never do it though.
Yeah. And how do you feel about collecting vinyl records?
I've got.
Have you?
I've got like.
Oh, you've got a whole stack of them. Love that.
Yeah, I've got a few, but I'm a rocker, so I've got like all the rock ones, like Paul Simon, Guns N' Roses, Pearl Jam and stuff. I don't have like the latest Taylor Swift. I've got
No, that's super
old school rock and roll vinyls, yeah.
But I think those are the cool vinyls because I know this trend cropped back up where everyone was trying to collect vinyls. And I was in my grandfather's cabinet trying to like steal some of his vinyls so I can be cool. So
Yeah, those are cool. You must keep those ones. I also raided my mom's and uncles and things like that. And there's some classics there, yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool.
So I think it's hot.
Yeah, cool. John, what do you think?
I also agree. I mean, I don't personally collect vinyl.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to when I was into like house music and collected all the whatever those kind of tracks. But yeah, I think it's all cool.
Cool. And how do you both feel about motorbike trips across the country?
That's
Me not. I've never been on a motorbike. I've been on the back of one when I was a youngster, but I've never been on one, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, okay. And John, you said it's hot. Have you been?
I haven't, but it's on like my bucket list of things to do. Is get one of those like I think they're like those on off-road bikes and just go on an excursion to around Africa.
Around Africa?
Yeah. Like all the way down.
Yeah.
Show, yeah.
He hasn't actually got enough leave to do that yet, so you know.
Maybe I can go like as far as Rivonia.
Yeah.
and then you
now get pulled back.
Come on, we've got a meeting at 5.
Yeah. How do you both feel about pineapple on pizza?
Not.
I feel like you answered that too quickly. Give it a beat.
Like age-old question. I'm not a fruit in meals kind of like I don't put fruit into curries and things like that. I just don't mix it. I know like people have very strong feelings about it, but I just don't like it.
Ooh, John?
I'm in the middle. I don't think it's hot. Well, I don't think it's not. I'll eat it. It's good. It's not bad. It's whatever. But yeah, pineapple, that's where it stops though, hey? Like bananas on there and
melon. Would you put melon on a pizza, John?
Yeah, that's where it stops, you know.
There are melon pizzas though, aren't there?
Oh, no.
I've seen
sure, there must be. The Italians would be going crazy, but there must be.
And how do you both feel about extreme hot sauce challenges?
About 7 years ago, I had this thought of making my own hot wing sauce for chicken wings. And so I tested them on John. I'd like make the chicken wing sauce, and then I'd say, John, you taste it and see what you think. But I never got too spicy because I can't handle spice. But I would take up a chicken wing challenge. I think hot sauce challenge. I think I would.
Yeah.
I would try it. I don't like hot things, but I would try it. Yeah. So I'd say hot. Yeah.
Okay. And John, you kind of did it with Theo's sauce.
Yeah. With Theo, I think we both love hot sauce. As long as it's not too hot. So
yeah.
I think when it starts getting into those like Carolina Reaper territories where you cry and things are coming out your nose. That's where I'd pull out the competition. But for the whole time, I'd probably before that would be fun.
Cool. And how do you both feel about cave tours?
Whoa, I haven't thought about cave tours for a long time, but we used to go on them at school. I'm fine with them. Yeah, I might be more claustrophobic now, but when I was younger, I loved them. Yeah. You're saying cave tours, like as in going into a cave?
Yeah, like going into caves. And
I'd do that. Yeah, hot. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've only been to one of those. It was at the Cradle of Humankind.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was terrified. Never again. I was like, no, thank you.
There's somewhere you have to like kind of crawl through a rock space that's like a manhole size and another chamber and things like that. Those I think I get a bit scared of getting stuck because I'm a lot bigger than I used to be. But yeah, there's lots. There's all over South Africa. Sudwala, Tango Caves, Tango Caves. Yeah, I'd definitely do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Same. I think, as long as they don't come to those small little things that you have to crawl through.
Yeah.
Okay. Like need at least 3 meter bubble around me. and then I'm okay.
Fair enough.
How about you?
How about me? I did that one tour in school at the Cradle of Humankind, and never again. I don't know. I feel like the day I go, the whole thing will come down.
Oh, mountain
Up with water.
millions of years. That's the day.
Exactly. And the day I go, it'll just
That'd
come
be-
down.
Yeah.
And how do you both feel about cooking with friends?
That's a no from me.
Oh,
I'm not really good at cooking in general, so I think to just show my level of terrible cooking to my friends would be embarrassing.
because you'd never live it down.
So yeah, they would just be like, "What are you doing? Just stop. Put down the spatula. Just stop it." Like, enough now.
If you're talking about a braai, then I guess that's okay.
Yeah, maybe a braai.
Then me in kitchens, like slicing things and making pastas and things like no, it's not. I'm just not. I'm not a chef. I can braai, but chef, no.
Huh? Okay. And how do you both feel about reading biographies of influential people?
I think that I love those. Like personally, like super interested in biographies. I don't get to read that much anymore, but I think those are super cool.
Yeah, I've read Rusty's book, which was brilliant. I've read, I started reading Elon Musk's book, but it wasn't as exciting because I guess he's maybe a bit disassociated with us. He's like further away. He's not really South African anymore. But I also like reading books about startups, the Nike story and the Amazon story. Those books really appeal to me because you can see the results of where they are and how they got is really interesting. So yeah, again, like John, when I have time, I'll read it or audio book it sometimes. But now, I do like reading them. Yeah, hot.
Cool. How do you both feel about mint chocolate?
Hot. I like it. It must be in the Aero, so it must be like together with Aero.
Yeah. You like the Aero one with the bubbles?
Yeah, I like the Aero one with the bubbles. Yeah. You remember those ones we used to get? I don't know if you had them, but they were called late night mints or something. They were like your parents bought them, and they had them when they had guests over, and then you had to go try to steal them. They were called after mints or something. After.
Oh yes. Was it in the mints? After mints?
It was like a dark chocolate with mint in it, and then it was in like a little plastic, little paper wrapper. It was so zhuzh. Anyway, those are also brilliant, and now I can afford them, so now I buy them, and my son.
Oh my goodness.
Very long answer, short.
It's a not from me, thank you.
Really? Why?
I don't know. Unless it's that like the peppermint crisp, whatever that thing, peppermint crisp. That's okay. But the crunchy, minty bits, but yeah, the rest of it's just
nah.
Yeah. That's the pineapple pizza of chocolate.
And then how do you both feel about the Godfather movie?
Oh, hot. I loved them.
Yeah, hot as well. Yeah,
but I watched them so long ago. I can remember just little scenes now.
Yeah.
Like to think about trying to rewatch them. I know they're like hours long. So
right? Why would you that long back
take
then?
a whole weekend and just get through it.
Right.
Yeah, movies were long back then. Yeah, I enjoyed them, but it's not my favorite genre, but I did enjoy them.
Cool. Well, guys, that is the end of the episode. Thank you both so much for joining us. Just as a final little tidbit, for anybody that's looking to follow the brand, follow what you've got going on next, maybe check out some of your offerings as well. Plug your socials and also your website.
Well, you can find us on melonmobile.co.za if you want to go to the website, and that's where you can also get your free trial, which is cool. You can sign up for a free trial. If you don't want a free trial, just go onto our app, which is available on the Google and Apple stores.
Yeah.
And look for Melon Mobile, and then search for Melon Mobile on Meta channels and TikTok, and you'll see Melon Mobile ZA generally on all three of them or four of them. You'll find us there. So that's pretty much where we're at.
Awesome. So we will make sure to plug all of those in the description box as well. So check it out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Amazing. That was super fun.
That was
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Bye.